Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. And our first one comes from Potential Grinch. Am I the beehole for not signing off on my ex-sister-in-law using my nephew's money to buy presents for her other kids? My 34-year-old brother Dave passed away 3 years ago, leaving behind his wife, Izzy, and son, Miles, now 8. Izzy has 2 other children, 11-year-old twins from her ex when Dave died. He left all his money in a trust, secure for Miles. Izzy is only allowed to use the money to take care of Miles, and in order to access any of the money, Izzy must have my written agreement or the trustee will not release funds. This money pays for Miles' prep school. There have been occasions in the past where Izzy has lied about what she wants money for, and I've signed off on her for getting the money only for her not to use the money for Miles, but for things for her other kids. Since I realize this, I normally just buy things Miles needs out of my own pocket, so that Izzy can't use these needs an excuse to extort money. A few days ago, Izzy called me and said she needed some money, and she wanted to be honest this time. She said she had no money after bills and other expenses to buy Christmas presents for her kids this year, and wanted to use some of Miles' money to do so. She said she won't spend extravagantly, but she knows that Miles will be getting gifts from our side of the family, and she won't be able to give her kids anything. She said she doesn't want the twins to resent Miles more than they already do. Miles has told me they bully him at home, and that she just needs a bit of help to make things equal. I was a bit irritated that she was trying to use her excuse of lack of parenting as the children's fault, and that the only way she could think to stop her kids' bad behavior is to use Miles' money as a shortcut. Ultimately, I said no, because I feel like spending Miles' money on people who are cruel to him would not be what he wanted. He's not old enough that I want to burn him by asking him directly, and would be against the spirit of the trust my brother set up. Izzy has been blowing up my phone, making me feel like trash for saying no, saying I'm ruining her Christmas, and making Miles' siblings hate him more, and it's really starting to get to me. But on the other hand, I'm not sure I can justify saying yes. I don't want this to open the door for further requests. At the end of the day, it's not even my money. Someday Miles will have access to the money, and the accounts, and every time I sign off on a request. I think that if I had to answer to an older Miles, would I be able to justify the purchase? And the answer here would be no. But I'm really struggling. Am I the beehole? Why did Dave hate his wife? I don't know. We weren't very close before he died, and the seances haven't given me a clear answer. I have no clue why he did it this way. Please stop asking. Does Izzy receive an allowance from the trust? No. Why can't I give Izzy an allowance? I cannot change the terms of the trust. I cannot make the trust pay out monthly stipend. As I understand it, not even the trustees can do that. If there was an allowance stated in the trust, they couldn't adjust the amount, but since there wasn't, I don't believe they can allocate one. Can Izzy sell our house? No, the house is in trust. She can't sell it. It's fully paid off, and she has no mortgage or rent payments to make on it. What? How does she not have money if she doesn't have to pay a mortgage or rent? Sorry, we're at the end of the story anyway, so I'm going straight into it. OP, you are not the beehole. So she obviously has a job if she's saying she spent all that money and can't make ends meet. What is she spending it on? If you don't have a mortgage, you should be fine, even if you're not making a ton of money, because bills, yeah, bills cost a bit, but if you have an okay job, you should be able to spend money on the bills and all that, and have money left over. Man, if I didn't have a mortgage, or rent. But OP, do not let that woman guilt you into spending your nephew's money. Like you said, that's not your money. And when he gets older, can you explain that to him? Hey, yeah, I gave your mom money to spend on those 2 ungrateful little SOBs who have been bullying you and treating you like crap. Yeah, they used your money to give them a Christmas. Sorry. No, he's gonna end up resenting you for that. So no, do not give them his money, because that's, like you said, that's not your money to give, that's his money. And you already found out that she's wasting his money not on him, or using his money not on him. And I like how she's trying to like manipulate you into saying, oh, they'll like him more if they get presents from him. No, they won't. They'll like their presents and still mistreat your nephew like that. So no, do not give in. Do not let this woman, mess with your mind to cave and give her money, because she just wants money to waste. She's probably not even spending it on her kids. She's probably spending it on herself, buying stupid things like designer bags. Look, if that's your thing, cool. It's not my thing. I don't get, advertising for people and showing their logos for free. You're gonna pay me if you want me to show your logo. And I also like how people are like, can you give her an allowance? No, she doesn't deserve an allowance. Again, that's not her money. She's a grown woman and she's working because she's obviously paying her bills and she has no rent or mortgage. So no, she doesn't need an allowance. She needs to control her finances better and get it together. Oh yeah, OP, like you said, if you give in this time, she's going to be like, "Oh, okay. Well, all I have to do is keep doing this and I'll keep getting money from him." So no, don't give in. It's like feeding a stray food. It's going to keep coming back, and that's what's going to happen if you do give her the money. Our next one comes from Jazz Like Town 7686. Am I the beehole for suggesting we lock up the Christmas presents after what my niece did last year? Every year, my siblings and I, alongside our families, spend Christmas with our parents. We stay at their house for a few days. Everyone opens gifts together. It's hectic, but a lot of fun. The kids enjoy having one big sleepover with their cousins, and my mom likes having everyone home again. We all pitch in. It's a win-win. Last year, my brother married Sally. She has a 7-year-old daughter, Mindy. This was their first Christmas with us. It seemed like they were having a fun time. Christmas Eve, all the kids went to the finished basement to sleep. We told the kids not to open up gifts without us and to wake us up when they did. This was repeated several times. Once the kids were asleep, we put all the gifts under the tree and eventually went to bed ourselves. The next morning, around 6 a.m., I wake up early and head downstairs. I find the living room a mess. Half the gifts were unwrapped, several of them had been ripped from their boxes, and there was Mindy playing with some of the toys. Most of the ones weren't even hers. She knows how to read, and they were all labeled, so she knew this. I was in shock. I went and got my brother, Sally, alongside the rest of the adults. Sally was super embarrassed. My mom was very upset. The other kids weren't up yet, so we tried to salvage what we could while Sally talked to Mindy. Not everything could be fixed, and she had broken a couple of the toys completely. The broken ones weren't even her own toys. Luckily, not everything was damaged, and even the boxes that were, the kids didn't notice. But my nephew, sister's son, had one of his big gifts destroyed, and he was sad when everyone else got theirs, while he was told he'd have to wait for a new one to come back in. Sally and my brother reimbursed everyone. Mindy did not get to open gifts with everyone, but joined in the festivities later. She apologized, but kept making excuses. She said she didn't want to wait, and she wanted to see what everyone else got. We were all preparing to go to my parents again this year, but I put in the group chat that we should either lock the door to the living room this year, or put a gate around the tree so no one can get to it. I didn't even name names, just specifically said, no one. Sally and my brother got mad, accusing me of treating Mindy like a baby or an animal. I said I'm not, but this is a precaution so none of the kids are tempted. They said no, it isn't necessary, and I'm holding a mistake over Mindy's head. I said no, I am not. I'm trying to make sure we have no repeats. Because I know I'll be asked, Minnie does not have autism or ADHD, and even if she did, my daughter has ADHD, and both my sister's kids are on the spectrum. They knew better. I don't think Mindy was malicious. She was only 6, but I do think precautions should be made. My parents agree with me, and my brother is mad that I put it in their heads. Am I the beehole? Hi, OP. You're not the beehole here. That bloody 6-year-old is the beehole. No, I'm kidding. She's 6, you know what I mean? I get it, but she should know better. You've told her repeated times not to do that. I can't get too mad at her, because again, little kid, it's Christmas, every kid is hyped on Christmas. But it seems Mindy was not trained right in opening and sneaking little peeks at the presents. Well, what I used to do was pick a tiny little hole in it at the back where you couldn't see it. I mean, most of the time it didn't work, and I couldn't tell what they were because my parents were smart and put them in boxes. But so you're not the beehole. Nope, nobody's really the beehole. Your brother shouldn't get mad here. Like you said, let's just avoid this catastrophe and put a little gate or just lock the door to the living room. But yeah, I don't think you're the beehole. I think your brother should get over it. And yeah, not the beehole. Minnie's not the beehole either. And that sucks, man. Having your big present destroyed on Christmas and you gotta wait. I've had stuff like that happen when I was a kid where it didn't work and you have to take it back to the store. That's not fun. It kills the magic of the day. So I get where you're coming from. Better to be safe than sorry. And yeah, if they can't get over it, oh well. I agree with you. Lock the door, put a little gate. Personally, I would just lock the door. I think you're fine. A 6-year-old, shouldn't be able to pick a lock, right? Right? Our next one comes from Major Table 3158. Am I the beehole for calling the police on my ex for abandoning his child and mine while his girlfriend was giving birth? I, a 32-year-old female, had been married to my ex, Dan, a 35-year-old male, for 6 years, before we divorced at the end of 2020 due to him cheating with Kate. Kate and Dan have a son who is 3, which was conceived and born during the pandemic while I was under high risk, and their entire affair has cost me some of my physical health, not just a mental one. After the divorce, Dan moved out from my house and we haven't spoken since. Last week, Dan suddenly dropped his son at my house without giving me any warning or explanation. He only mumbled that Kate was giving birth to their second child and needs him in the delivery room due to complications. He left before I could protest, and I have tried texting and calling him multiple times and have received no reply. I do not know why he thought it was a good idea, as I had plans and they definitely don't involve someone else's child. I ended up calling the police and have told them what happened. Explained it's not my child and I haven't agreed to look after him, and his dad is not responding. They took the child and I haven't heard anything until the very early hours of the same day, when my ex called me, calling me a beehole, as the cops found him in the hospital and basically forced him out of the living room so he can look after his child, so he missed the birth of his second, and Kate had some complications, so she's in intensive care. He also started shouting, saying his and Kate's parents are living at the opposite ends of the country and have medical conditions, which means they can't look after his son. I have told him that he should have used his brain cells and thought about it in advance instead of dumping the product of his affair at my house, knowing that me and him are not civil, but was called an even bigger a-hole. I have mentioned this to some of my family and friends. While some people are on my side, others agree with my ex, saying I should have looked after a kid and at beehole for calling the cops. OP, those people are not your friends, and if they're family, cut them out because they're idiots and they are wrong. Holy hell, they really pissed me off. This man cheated on you, brought his little cheat baby, threw the baby at you and said, watch my kid, while the woman I cheated on you with is spitting out another one. And they expect you to just sit there and take it? No, OP, I think you were being too nice to even call or text the guy. I would have immediately called the cops, and you did the right thing, because that was an abandoned child at your doorstep. The audacity of this goober who cheated on you, who's divorced from you, and you're not civil with, I know I said it, but he brought his child. He thought this was a good idea, to just hand you his child and think nothing would happen. And he wants to get mad at you. Your ex-husband sounds like a prick, and I'm glad you divorced him. And I feel, I don't even feel bad for the chick that married him, because she's given him more kids and she cheated with him. As far as I'm concerned, they deserve each other. But yeah, OP, not the beehole. 127,000%, not the beehole. Your cheating ex and his goober wife are beeholes. Just, wow, people suck, man. And our final one comes from Air Filter. Am I the beehole for not letting my brother and his wife come to my wedding? I, a 19-year-old female, am autistic, and no one else in my family is. One of my brothers, Marcus, a 29-year-old male, got married to Lilith, a 28-year-old female, about 6 years back. They lived away from here, so I don't know her all that well until they moved back here a bit over a year ago. I was really happy at first to have my brother around more, but the happiness did not last long. It started with Lilith referring to me as it. I told her she can use she or they for me, but it makes me feel uncomfortable, and she apologized. Then she did it another time. When I corrected her, she said, it was just a joke. I told her it wasn't funny and not to do it. A while after, I was having a hard time and needed to leave bowling early, and I heard Lilith say to Marcus, as I was leaving, don't feel bad, it's not your fault, it's restarted. If you don't know, restarted is a variation of the slur. You know the slur, I'm not going to say it because I'm on YouTube, but you know. I was upset and talked to Marcus a couple of days later, and she told me she was just joking. I told him that it really bothered me, and he said he would talk to her. Fast forward a bit, and my fiance, Sean, a 28-year-old male, shows me about the conversation he had with Lilith over text. She had basically insulted me and said that he has a kink for our girls. and that he did a good job finding such a pretty one who can't think, must be nice in other ways. Sean was very upset that she had said this, and so was I. I tried to talk to Marcus, but he just told me that Lilith has a dark sense of humor, and that she did not mean to upset anyone. I felt hurt by this still. So, when we made the invites, we didn't include Marcus or Lilith. When they asked about it, I just explained why I chose what I did, and they were livid. Now, all of my family is saying that if I don't let Marcus and Lilith come, they won't. They bring it up whenever I see them or try to talk to them, and they tell me I'm being a beehole about it. Okay, OP, you are not the beehole. Do not let those people come to your wedding if they're going to be so rude and ghoulish towards you. And I hate that little thing they do when they say something mean or rude and go, "Oh, I was just joking." No, you weren't joking. You're using that to get out of get out of it when someone calls you on your BS. Now, when it comes to the family, I don't know if you've shown them what that woman has said to you or said about you, but if you have the text, show your family. Now, if they're still saying, "Oh, you should still invite them to the wedding or they won't come," then oh well, have your wedding. It's not about them, it's about you and your husband getting married. If your family doesn't have your back after that, they should have your back no matter what. But if they don't have your back after that, then, F them. They're not needed. You can still have a good wedding. Looking down the comments, Rose Color Socks sums it up very well. Not the beehole. She is not joking. She's bullying. And they need to stop making excuses. Ask them about what about her jokes are funny. Moreover, what about you having autism is funny to warrant these jokes? Do they think what she says is funny? I'm glad your fiance is on your side. Let them not come. By refusing to come, they're showing that they're signing off and agreeing with her. You shouldn't have your wedding day ruined by someone who speaks so rudely of you and is permitted to do so by your family. Well said. I agree. OP, go and get married and enjoy your wedding. Screw those people. They are not your friends, and if they know what she's doing, they are also not your family, and I would look into cutting them off, because you don't need family like that. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning, and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.